Okay, today's worksheet is a little like yesterday's, where it's asking you to graph the quadratic function and then name the roots. So we're looking for the roots. Remember, roots are the same things as solutions, zeros, x-intercepts, roots. Okay, so we're looking for where they cross the x-axis. If it does not cross the x-axis, for example, let's say you have a graph and it never crosses this, then you would tell me that it does not have any. So it has none, no roots, or none. Okay? Because it never crosses the x-axis. For the back page, on here, you're going to put this equation in y equals, and you're going to go to second graph to fill in the table here. Same thing here. And if you want to use the same numbers, that's fine. Okay? It's also asking you for the zeros. So for the most part, there is 2 zeros. Sometimes there's 1 zero, sometimes there's no zeros. So you're looking for the zeros. I'm not talking about this zero, I'm talking about the zeros here. And if you can't find them on the table, then you also need to go to trace. You can put this in y equals trace and go find the zeros that way. Let's scroll to the bottom a little bit. Okay, right here, you're just going to sketch the graph. So you're going to put this in y equals, trace, sketch the graph. And then tell me what the x-intercepts are. Does it have 1? Does it have 2? Does it have 0? Same thing here. Sketch the graph. Y equals trace. Y equals trace. Sketch the graph. Tell me what the x-intercepts are. I'm going to do the bottom one with you because it's been a while since we've done something like this. It's asking to write down the zeros of the quadratic function graphed here. Work backwards and use the zeros to write the two factors. So I'm going to find the factors from the zeros, and then I'm going to find the equation. So how do you find zeros from this graph? Remember, zeros are the solutions, the roots, the x-intercepts. So here are my x-intercepts. Okay, this is 0, so 1, 2 is one of the zeros, x equals 2. And the other one is -1, -2, -3. So x equals -3. Those are your zeros. To turn these zeros into factors, you move this over and change the sign. So let me put I'm going to show my work down here. If I want to change this from a 0 to a factor, you move it over and you change the sign. So it's going to be x minus 2 equals 0. That's one of the factors. So I'm going to put that one of my factors is x minus 2. What do you think the other factor is going to be? X equals -3. Move it over, change the sign. X plus 3 is the other factor. Okay? And then the last thing I need to do is write it as an equation. So in order to write it as a quadratic equation, you have to multiply these. Multiply the factors. So remember, we do the box. And we multiply them. X minus 2 times x plus 3. And you multiply. X times x is x squared. X times 3 is positive 3x. X times negative 2 is negative 2x. And negative 2 times 3 is a negative 6. What do you do with the middle ones? You combine them, you add them. So put this in the calculator, 3 plus negative 2. And then write down your equation. Your equation is x squared plus 1x minus 6. Because when you add these two, it gives you 1x. And this is an invisible 1 right there. So that's just a review of the stuff that we've done all year. Well, since before the break. You find the zeros, change the sign, those are your factors, multiply them using the box, that's your equation. Go ahead and finish the rest of this paper, front and back, and don't forget we have a quiz tomorrow over this stuff.